Hello, Homestead. I'm Greg Giglio, the principal here at Homestead High School, and coming at you with our week 2 video. I'm going to be doing these videos throughout the distance learning time to try and keep you informed and let you know what's going on. So I hope you find these useful. This week's, I'm going to talk a little bit about the schedules and advisory and a few other things that are out there. So let me click and share my schedule here because I wanted to clear up some confusion about the schedule because it is a little bit different. So I wanted to just try and help answer some of those questions for you that we're getting. If you go to our website and you click on About Us, that'll give you a section where you can actually go to bell schedules, and then you can look at our bell schedule here. So you'll notice that Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday are pretty straightforward. There are block days. Monday and Thursday, we have periods 1, 2, we have lunch, and then 3 and 7. On Tuesdays and Fridays, we have periods 4, 5, lunch, then office hours, then end the day with 6 period. Just a couple things to point out here. Monday, Thursday start at 8 a.m. and goes all the way, if you have a 7th period, all the way till 3:30. On Tuesdays and Fridays, though, I want you to notice that it starts at 9 a.m. And that's because we have teacher collaboration during those times. So it's a late start for our students. They get to sleep in a bit. Where we start to find some confusion is this area where it says office hours. And so office hours is what we used to call tutorial. Teachers host them in different ways. They can be drop-in periods. They can be a place where a teacher asks students to make appointments. But the whole point is for students and teachers to try and connect to get a little extra help and support. So you'll notice Tuesdays and Fridays, that's 2 days out of the week there. And then also on Wednesdays, there's time for that as well. So there's several points in the week where outside of class time, students can connect with teachers. Wednesday, though, seems to be the thing that's a little bit confusing to everybody. So I wanted to look and point out to you the Student Wednesday. So on Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 9 to 10 in remote learning, we're going to be doing something called advisory. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a second, but it's mandatory attendance. Every student must go to that. Every student has been assigned to an advisory period, and every adult on campus is connected to advisory in some way or another. Then there's a break. That's the only time, though, that students are required to report in for a daily live interaction. The rest of the day for them is going to be spent in where it says learning time here. This is places where they can actually work on homework, projects, that kind of stuff without having to worry about classes and that kind of thing going on. But it is a time during the day where they get to actually work on some of the work that they've been assigned, which was a big thing that we heard about, a big stressor in the days of last semester. So we're trying to address that now. Then there's lunch. Then again, there's office hours again right here. So at 1 to 1:45. So that's a time again for students to check in and teachers to check in. There's a break. This also last period has been a little bit confusing for some folks. Let me try and explain it. So again, this could be a time where teachers are checking in with students. You could make appointments. You can drop by, whatever it is that they have assigned or whatever it is they choose to do. There is learning time. You could also just be working on work again. So during the day, you have a lot of time to be working on work that comes up. So we're hoping that, again, we know that homework is a stressor, and we hope that this being able to work on it during the day gives them some help. And also they're able to check in with their teachers while they're working on it. There's also a thing here called student activity period. And that's something that we're still developing, but the concept behind it is that this is where clubs would meet. This is where we might have class meetings. We could have things like a rally or activities going on for students. This could be when teams start to get together, they could have meetings, that kind of thing. So it is a wide open thing. But again, the idea behind Wednesday is students come to school once for advisory, and throughout the day they have the option to come and check in with teachers or others or do some other activities. But hopefully the rest of Wednesday is spent doing work, studying, preparing for the next day's lessons. So that's a little bit about that one. I also want to point out that we do have a special bell schedule coming up for the week of Labor Day and also the week of October 12th. We have a 3-day weekend because of Labor Day. Monday is a holiday. And so in those weeks, what we have chosen to do is to remove that Wednesday and keep the block instructional days. And so what you'll notice here is on these days, Monday's the day off, Tuesday and Wednesday, basically we just shifted the Monday, Tuesday to Tuesday, Wednesday. So you go periods 1, 2, 3, 7, 4, 5, 6, and then we repeat that again. So just wanted people to be aware of that again, Monday to 9, 7 and Monday 10, 12, there's no school. So on those weeks, the whole thing shifts a bit there. So your teachers will be talking about it. This should be posted up on the website here very shortly. But again, wanted you all to be aware of that. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was advisory. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. It was advisory. So again, on that Wednesday in the morning from 9 to 10, every student has been assigned into their second period class for something called advisory. Students who do not have a second period have been placed with one of their teachers into their advisory so that every student has advisory. And the idea is that this is a time for us to do some whole campus connection and learning. Half of the goal is for teachers to get to know students a little bit better, for students to get to know teachers a little bit better, and then for students to get to know each other a little bit better. That was one thing that we heard in our surveys that we knew was missing, and we really needed some time for everyone to get together and just connect, because that's what's really hard to do in a pandemic and in remote learning. So we're trying to provide some time for that. The other part of advisory is to be able to provide some whole school learning. Again, the first week of school, we had modules on Schoology, on campus expectations during remote learning, on anti-racism, on sexual harassment. Last week we had a advisory on communication. Next week's advisory is going to be one about just a general check-in and seeing how kids are doing and maybe trying to problem solve a little bit. And then as we go along, there'll be other advisories from, say, our leadership kids, or from our mental health team about how to deal with stress, or from our guidance team about colleges, or school, how to choose classes. There's lots of different things out there. So the idea is that we're going to be trying to use that time to really help educate our kids. We'll also be making a lot of that material available for parents, so that you'll get to see that as well, and maybe have some conversations and ask your students about how that went. So that's what advisory is. It's, again, every Wednesday. It is mandatory. Every student, we are taking attendance. So if they don't show up, it's going to count against their attendance, and then you'll start getting phone calls from folks asking where your kids are. So please make sure that they're attending those particular periods. The last thing, I'm going to share my screen one more time because I want to actually show you that one of the things that we're working on, and you'll see in the email that this video came with, is that there's a link to a survey. It's called the Rosebud Thorn survey. It's a Google form. All of it is optional. You don't have to answer all the questions. It's whatever one you want to. But the general idea behind it is that if you have a rose, something you'd like to share, maybe a congratulations or a thank you or a shout out to somebody, anybody, whether it's a staff member or student or community member, whatever, put it here, and we'll make sure that that person sees that. If you have a bud, which is something that's new or a learning or an idea or something you'd like us to look more into, that's kind of something that's starting to germinate or grow. That's why it's called a bud. And so you can put that right here. If you have a thorn, which is maybe a question or a concern that's come up, you can put it here too. And then I will use these things to actually, in the next videos that I send out, to try and address some of those. Now, more importantly, you'll see that there's a box here that says, what type of response are you looking for? Do you want something public or do you want something private? Is this something that you just need to know the answer to? You don't need it to go out to everybody. Again, if you do that, please leave your name and or a place to either call you or Zoom with you or email you. I'm happy to do that. But you got to put it right there so I know who to respond back to, because I'm not collecting emails on this. If you want a public, and you just say public, and I will use that as part of the video and try and give that answer out to everybody as sort of a community service. So again, this will be open throughout this semester, hoping that you guys use it to give me some feedback and some ideas, and then I'm able to turn around and use it as a communication tool for everybody. So please look to that link, and I look forward to seeing what roses, buds, and thorns you guys have, so that we can address them and work together as a team. Again, thank you very much for sitting through this video and for listening to what we have to say. As always, if you have any direct questions, you can always just straight email me. But again, start using this Rosebud Thorn survey. That'll be a helpful way for us to keep it all in one spot. Hope you guys have a safe and restful weekend, and that the smoke does not affect too many of you. And hopefully the winds change, and we're really thinking about our frontline heroes out there with our responders who are fighting the fires for us and taking care of all of us. So do take care of yourself as well. Thank you, and have a good day.